All right, we turn now to Mike Cryans, who is running for our county treasurer.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, thank you.
Well, I start off with this little picture because tomorrow is Jimmy Carter's 100th birthday. And this is back in 1975 in Littleton when he was running for president, and he was known as Jimmy Who because most people had no idea who Jimmy was. And to the other person over here is Hugh Gallen, who later became governor of New Hampshire, but he had a hard time getting elected in Littleton. So anyways, I thought I'd just mention that. Um, Again, my name's Mike Cryans, and I was 19 years county commissioner in Grafton County and 2 years on the executive council in District 1, which has now morphed, our area has morphed into District 2. And so both were great life experiences. In fact, last night I spoke at the Sugar Hill event, and I mentioned that when Ray Burton passed away, James Prindle, who is now with the Boston Globe, but he was with MUR, asked me the question. He said, many people say Ray Burton liked or loved county government more than he loved being on the executive council. I said, I don't know if he loved it anymore, but he didn't love it any less. And my point in saying that is that both forms of government are wonderful. There's nothing more close than county government. You can make a decision as a commissioner and walk downstairs and walk through the nursing home and eat lunch with some of the people that you just made a decision that would affect their lives. So the reason I'm running is, well, first of all, our current treasurer is giving up her job to run for the executive council. And so I threw my hat in the ring and not knowing anybody else would be running. And lo and behold, we had two others. And I thought one of the nicest comments was at the Campton event where Corinne and myself were there, and we both said, no matter who wins, we think the county will be well served. And, where you hear all this acrimony and sort of toughness between races, we sort of had a wonderful, cordial event. And Jason joined us here in the Hanover event. I think it also says a lot about what's happening. Thank you. It says a lot about what's happening in Grafton County. I was just thinking, a lot of times you'd run for this office and no one would say anything. And now all of a sudden we're having an event like tonight, or we had one in Northern Grafton County, we had one in Sugar Hill, we had one last week in Plymouth, in Campton, we had one. So we've been bouncing around, and I think the effort to educate people, to inspire people to work. I think one of the things we all want to do is work as hard as we can to get as many Democrats elected as possible. And, it's easy sometimes to run for the office because I think the people that work the hardest a lot of times are the volunteers manning the offices or going out knocking on doors and doing all the things that volunteers do. So quickly, the treasurer takes the money that comes in for taxes and invests it, try to get the best rates as possible, make sure all the forms that are filed on time, and does everything that he can, or she, who's ever holding the office, to make sure that the things that are called for within the statutes are executed as well as possible. And with my banking background, I hope I can do that. And at the end of 2 years, people will say he did a good job.
Perfect. Thank you. So I have a question for you, Mike,
Sure.
about why it's important to elect Democrats to county offices.
Sure. Well, so I think it says a little bit about, well, I'm looking at you, Deb, and you and I have similar color hair. I've been at this for a while. And when I first went on the county commission, I was the only Democrat in the 8 county offices. And of the 27 House members, we only had 7, 4 from Hanover. The last one who most recently passed away was Sharon. But we also had Sue Almy and down Cliff Below. And over in Plymouth, we had Sid Lovett. When I left and got elected to the executive council, we had 23 Democrats and 4 Republicans in the delegation, 23 to 4. We went from 7 And so I guess what I'm saying is the county has changed a lot. The jobs are you know, you've got to run either a Democrat or Republican to get elected. I know some people say they shouldn't be. In fact, I had a lot of Republicans that told me when they had all the office, well, they never said it when they had the offices. As soon as they started losing them, they were saying, why are these jobs run as Democrat, Republican? They should just be open to anyone. And I said, sort of glibly, you never said that when you had all the offices. And I think the ones we've put in, whether it was Lara Sappho or Marcy at the county attorney's office, we've put in some wonderful people that have done some great jobs. And I think you work as hard as you can. You know, there'll be sometimes you look down this thing and somebody might say, I'm going to vote for all of them, but I'm not going to vote for Mike Cryans, or I'm going to vote for all of them, but I'm not going to vote for X person. But I still think as Democrats, I'm glad we have taken control after all these years. So, and when I say when I first started, that was the 1996 election. So it's been a while.